Hello everyone, welcome. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite topics, meditation. I call it meditation because it's a good term for it. The mystics such as St. John of the Cross or Teresa of Avila, they talk about contemplation or infused prayer. I think they're all good terms. I use the term meditation, not in a technical sense, but in just a general way of referring to something to do to get centered, to get out of your squirrel cage of thought. Most people spend most of the time lost in thought. When you're lost in thought, it's not reality. It's virtual. It's not even reality. It's just a virtual something or other. And your thoughts are very tricky. They fool you. Have you ever thought that someone was being mean, or someone had it in for you, or someone was talking behind your back or something, and then you found out later that they weren't? See, your thoughts can be very tricky. So, let's talk about meditation. What is it? It's very simple. It's so simple. The other day I was talking to a young man, and he said that he was having anxiety about this and about that and about that and about this. And he said his whole life wasn't so good. I said, well, why don't you practice sitting quietly, close your eyes, and just look at the inside of your eyelids. There are basically two places from which you can get energy, from without and below, or from outside and below, or from above. The energy that comes from above is what our soul was designed to live on. It's the energy from God. It's God's light. And like light, it's magic. You know light, or electricity, magnetism. They're like magic. Just magic. Light does so many wonderful things. And so does warmth. And so does electricity. Just, there's no limit to what they can do. They're marvelous. God's light is like that. It's just wonderful. You get warmth from it, love from it. You get insights from it, realizations. The soul was meant to live in God's light. But what has happened is the human race has fallen away from God's light. And so where do we get our energy? Well, we have to get it from food, for example. And we have to generate some kind of energy, don't we? Which we call emotions. In order to do things, we have to be angry, resentful. We need to be prodded, poked, teased, pressured. A lot of people can't get anything done until there's a deadline. They wait and wait and wait, and oh my God, it's due tomorrow, and then they get a lot done. But with what kind of energy is it? Of impatience, of excitement. With that energy that you have to draw up. It drains you. See? It drains you. And it puts a toil upon your body, upon your cells. And eventually, they begin to deteriorate. They're damaged. It's just like a car engine. It'll run for a long time, but eventually it starts to get old. It starts to break down. Now, admittedly, we're born of the earth, first of the flesh, then of the spirit. We're born of the earth and later of the spirit. Originally, the human race was born of the spirit. Now you have to be reborn. Adam, God breathed life into Adam. And with the body that God gave Adam would be able to see and to hear to taste and to touch and to marvel at God's great universe. And to go from point A to point B, to go here and there on an adventure of discovery, ever marveling at God's handiwork and his genius and his greatness and his goodness and the wonderful things that he makes and the wonderful person that he is, God. The wonderfulness of God. Wasn't there a song, something about the wonderfulness of you? Well, that applies very much to God, the wonderfulness of God. But Adam got cut off from God through disobedience, through doubt, through listening to some other source. He was cut off. Then what happened? He had to be. There was a transformation of his processes, of his energy producing. And like they say that, for example, that cancer has its own kind of metabolism, somehow based on sugar. I don't know how it goes, but it's different metabolism. Well, Adam's metabolism changed, and he became of the earth. And all he was of the earth, but God said to Adam, he said, someday, and to Eve, he said, someday someone will arise who will rescue people from this sorry state to which you have fallen. God was talking about Christ, of course, his son, Jesus. Well, the whole history of the human race is a history of what? Of betrayal, failing, falling, messing up, tragedy, suffering, and so on and so forth, with a few bright spots here and there. Well, God has designed a plan to rescue, not everyone, but some people from this sorry state. They have to be reborn. They have to be reborn. Instead of being born of woman, of the legacy of the failing of Adam, and born of the woman, the person must be reborn of God. See? Well, then when you're reborn of God, then once again a change will occur. Some things right away, other things over time, sometimes lots of time, years, decades. Well, it took Moses. Moses was 40 years old when he went out to the desert. And then he was 80 years old when God could use him. So it took 80 years, 40 years at best, from when Moses first decided that he wanted to be with his people, and he left being in the Pharaoh's household and went to live with his people. Well, it took 40 years. During that time, he was undoubtedly growing. God was preparing him. So you have to be reborn, and then there has been a lot of time to change over to a new system, a whole new system, a whole nother system. Okay? Instead of being emotional, angry, full of rage, excited, hurt feelings, unhappy, lustful, passionate, instead of all these animal emotions, drawing up animal emotions for the feeling of life. But it's a false life. It's an animal life. And yeah, you feel alive, but it's an animal life. And then eventually your batteries are totally drained. God's system is totally different. And it's eternal life. Eternal life. Eternal daily renewal. And eternal energy upon which to live. The energy of God's light. Of love. That's what it is, love. So it's magical. And it's there. It's there for I was going to say for the taking. Well, you can't take it. You can yearn for it. You can yearn for something. You don't even know what. You just yearn for something beyond the cesspool that we live in. Beyond your own pettiness and beyond all of the things that the ambitious schemes and dreams and getting even and getting revenge and proving something beyond all of that. You yearn for it. And yearn for truth. Truth is so sweet. Everywhere you go, lies, deception, falsity, half-truths, see, trickery. But the truth, just the honest truth, is so beautiful. And some other derivatives of truth are like righteousness, justice, fairness, okay? And to yearn for love, the love you've never known. The love for people, what has it done for you? All it does is keep you the way you are. They love you the way you are, fallen. Their love fills an emptiness, but it's never satisfying. So you'll yearn for some kind of love. And you know that you need love. You need love for your partner, for your kids, for other people. You need patience for them, which you don't have. You don't have patience. You don't have love. You see that you need that love. So you get love. All love also comes from God. And some of the derivatives of love are mercy, kindness, patience, long-suffering. See? That's what the other people need. You men, your wives need to see that. Patient, enduring, agape love. Emotionless love. See? Your kids need that. Everyone needs it. You need it. So you need to refine your Creator. Well, how are you going to do that? Well, you can't study your way to God. See, if you try to study your way to God, try to get some degrees in religion or philosophy or theology or something, it'll take you in the opposite direction because the serpent has taken over education. Not that education is a bad thing, but remember it was the serpent of knowledge, the knowledge of good and the knowledge of evil. All it does is puff you up. And then you live a life based upon words, manipulating of words. That's not the real thing. Okay? So how are you going to find God? Well, you find him by simply yearning for him, then he finds you. That's right. You yearn for him. It's like a little child, see, loses daddy's hand or mommy's hand. Maybe they're at the zoo or somewhere there, and the little child loses mommy's hand, and all of a sudden the child doesn't know where mommy is or daddy is. And the child cries out, "Mommy, Daddy." And mommy and daddy hear, don't they? And they come. See? Well, you don't even have to cry out, Daddy. You can simply yearn for God, and he knows. And he'll rescue you by giving you light. Now, there's something that facilitates, just a little simple thing, and down-to-earth thing, a little something that facilitates finding God. We said that study doesn't. See, emotions don't. Imagination doesn't. That's your problem now. You're lost in your imagination. Instead of living in reality, you're living in imagination. So visualization doesn't help. Positive thinking, just another lie. It's trying to give yourself. See, all you can do is yearn for it, and God gives it to you. See? So something facilitates it, and that is the simple meditation. Simple meditation, learning to sit still, become aware of the inside of your eyelids. See, look at the inside of your eyelids and see the little pixels of light, little patterns of light, little glow of light. That's all. Just see that. And what does that do? It takes you out of your imagination. Where do all the doubts, worries, fears, what if this, what if that, revenge thoughts and thinking, why does she hate me? What is she trying to do to me? All those kinds of things, where they come from, the imagination. So wherever those thoughts originate through the imagination somehow, they're not your friend. They're more distractions, more pulling you into more emotions, more angers, more resentments, more desires. Just stand back from it. Don't try to struggle with it. Stand back from it by looking at the inside of your eyelids. Now you're in the present. See? Not in the imagination. The light, that delicate light on the inside of your eyelids, it cancels out the imagination. Now you're in the present. Then at the same time, become aware of your hand. Let's say your right hand. See? You can have it by your side. Or you can have it in your lap. Okay? And by your side is good. Just become aware of it. Look at the inside of your eyelids. See the little pixels of light, little sparkles of light. And become aware of your hand. Feel the blood flow into it. And just become aware of your hand. Notice your hand. Pay attention to your hand. Feel your hand while you're looking at the inside of your eyelids. Feel your hand. Feel the blood flowing into it. And your hand becomes a little bit tingly, doesn't it? A little bit tingly as you pay attention to it. Notice that tingle. Feel the tingle while you're looking at the inside of your eyelids. That little feeling of tingly, it's like love coming from within, filling your hand. Okay? And you can extend it to both hands, to your feet. You can just feel that kind of, it's like a warmth. It's like a fulfillment from within. It's like an infilling. It's just, and it begins with noticing your hands so that it tingles a little bit. Just notice your hand and look at the inside of your eyelids. See the little pixels of light. Now you're in the present moment. You're not lost in the imagination. You're not subject to the imagination. You're not subject to those doubts and fears and anxieties and wayward thoughts that come from the imagination. Now you're subject. Actually, if you want to know the truth, you're subject to God. So you sit there, but what's going to happen? Well, thoughts will rise up. Thoughts will rise up. Something to eat, something to do, something to reach for, something to listen to, something to buy, someone to text on your iPhone. Anything, thoughts will rise up as if to take you away from communing with the inner light. So when they do that, you just notice the thought. When you notice the thought, you're back in the present again, looking at the inside of your eyelids. And another thought will arise. Seek to carry you away. And you'll notice it. You'll notice it. And then just look at the inside of your eyelid again. Feel your hand by your side, warm. Sometimes it's helpful to be aware or to notice one finger at a time. It helps to anchor you in the present. So you can be aware of your thumb. Feel the blood flowing into your thumb. Feel your thumb tingle. Notice your thumb. Now shift your attention to your first finger. Notice your first finger. Feel the blood flowing into it. Feel it become a little tingly. Now notice your second finger. Pay attention to your second finger. Be aware of your second finger. Feel the blood. Feel the little tingle. See? And then your third finger. Notice it. Be aware of your third finger while you're at the same time looking at the inside of your eyelids and seeing that little glow of light. Now notice your fourth finger. Feel your fourth finger. Now notice your thumb again. See how that helps to anchor you in the present? So you see how simple that is? See, it's very beautiful. Well, that's the meditation. Do that every morning for 5 minutes or so, at noon and evening. And you can do it during the day, even for a minute or so, once in a while. Close your eyes and notice the inside of your eyelids. Just see the little pixels of light. See the light. Little patterns of light. Little glow of light. It's not completely black, is it? There's a little bit of light there, spiritual light, shining on the inside, from the inside. It's beautiful. You didn't know it was there. Maybe when you were a little kid you knew it was there. You closed your eyes and saw little patterns of light. But then, as time went by, you lost it because you started to get lost in the imagination all the time. Little kids have imagination. It's a natural thing for little children. But when you got older, you compulsively fell into the imagination to escape from reality. See? But you didn't know you were escaping from truth, from God's light. It gives life. It gives warmth. It gives insight. It gives you the power to be patient, the power to stand back from your thoughts, the power not to get angry and to resent other people. It gives you that power. It's from God. God gives you the power. You can't do anything of yourself. Beautiful. So that's what let's do, is practice that little meditation from now on. Okay? Every day. My name is Roland.